we had to do it looks like pretty right now, but it's like.
Last person home gets this job.
That's
They go by height? I'm not sure.
That was a very quick comeback.
That's why she's been on here for a long
Tonight,
time.
probably like 4 o'clock, I don't know if Bill knows
In
about it.
1996,
But some guy was up there with the ladder going out, you know, checking out his room. Yeah, I should have gone over it, sorry, I
moved him back to New York.
wasn't gonna go out as cold.
He moved twice on Long Island, and the third move
I
here.
figured if he
Still
fell, I'd
intact.
called you.
What the hell's in those boxes?
Just get rid of the
Yes.
box.
I said, this is scary. Don't you, aren't you curious? What's in the damn
Those are
things?
about four, just like this one here. So, passing around, he's in his attic. So finally with him, and then he put the boxes up to the basement of the penthouse, so then he was even to Laura's invite. He goes like, Kathy,
It's going.
we haven't opened these boxes in over 10 years, obviously we don't need any of it.
Yes, no, you gotta say that. I mean,
And so gone.
no, it's bad. We're just packing up. And I've been very fortunate since I'm always busy. And I can't help packing. And lately, not this guy. You know, I can't be there. You know, so
You're spending less than my wife, so I haven't even
I
reported it.
can't really say it's fallen on my shoulders, but
I was looking for a sweater this morning with him.
you know how that goes.
It's like kind of soup.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. That's where the house sold and officially moved in and just trying to find things.
Oh, joke in hand. It's a joke in hand.
We're live.
This is gonna be exciting when I sit there.
Yes, if we were packing up, everybody was, we had friends coming over to help and the rest of this, so it's now moving day, they're putting stuff on the van, all the rest of
We've
this
got problems
business.
in the minutes.
And we knew we weren't gonna be able to close for a day or two, so, we had to pack our own bags, so we had to close for the 2 days, right?
Yeah, I guess
So everything's fine, in fact, so make sure you put everything in, you get out of the van, the rest of that, then I get distracted with all these people in there. So I don't
No,
pay
I don't have
time to read
Who's
9
came
versions.
The only difference was.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
He said,
Not even finding them
where's,
We don't like the names.
at the
where's
last
your
meeting.
pay?
No, it was on.
For being here,
I had
yeah.
a bad
Being here,
feeling.
When they in my box.
Yes.
Shoot, I was just writing it multiple times.
No pay.
You did it.
Which one's you missing?
So I ended up shopping at the dollar store to
According to what I'm reading.
Okay.
For 2 or 3 days.
It's kind of expensive, I gotta tell you.
Alright.
I got the April 2nd.
We don't have the March
Can I just borrow that?
I got the 13th, but I got version 1, I guess.
Okay.
Yours doesn't say.
I do. He better not mess up my cheese. He probably adjusted the goddamn thing.
The lumber around.
Yeah.
It's a little harsh.
Good catch.
Yeah. No, also, I thought it was my understanding that that went for the residents too, if they were having water quality
Yes,
issues.
river quality issues, yeah.
Water,
Water.
and other
Didn't
properties.
say water, yeah.
Alright, we'll call the meeting to order. Janet, you wanna lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Privilege of the floor. We'll all jump at once. Anybody?
Good evening.
Okay, going
I've
down.
got you marked in the whole business, what you discussed, so you'll be,
Okay, approval of the March 13th and the April 2nd meeting minutes with the corrections we just straightened out. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Second? So moved. Anybody?
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Old business. The GovPay credit card program, which we have Gertrude here
Yes.
to answer any questions. And I do have a couple, which I think found most of the answers to in the contract. The one question I do have, when there's a challenge, somebody says it was a fraudulent charge.
Right.
How do you handle that?
GovPay has always taken the responsibility of all chargebacks. In other words, you get paid no matter what.
Okay,
We will call you and ask you for assistance. And if you could identify the person, or if it's somebody in the community, can you alert the sheriff's department, to pick them up and help us with, the fraudulent charge. But as far as your money, you get your money.
okay. I just had to ask that.
No,
'cause
and
I've
we're
been
probably
on,
the
I've been
only
on that
company
end of it in my
that
shop,
does
and
guarantee the funds.
it cost me a fortune.
Yes, we are the only company that guarantees funds.
That's very good. Anybody else have any questions about the program they'd like to ask?
One thing I would like to add for you guys, just so you know, on the secure side of what we do, GovPay is more of a, for lack of another word, it's like a keyboard that you plug into your computer. We gather the data, we send it out, we approve it or decline it. And then it prints a receipt, obviously the customer gets a copy, the consumer, and you keep a copy. And that's as far as it goes. We keep all the documents on our side, but we don't store data. So you don't have to worry about any kind of breach or anything like that, because we're not keeping that credit card anywhere.
Okay,
The only thing that we're logging is, I think it's 5 to 7 years, we do keep copies of all the information. Once the transaction is placed and it's gone out and gone into the decline or accepted mode, it comes back with a reference number. And that reference number follows that transaction forever, and that's how we locate everything. The money, once it's taken in, then goes into what we call ProView. That's where the money sits until it is deposited into your bank account.
that takes what, one or 2 days?
Yeah.
probably?
It's normal banking turnaround, yeah, right.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about anything secure or anything like
Yeah,
that.
because I know at the county, the security end,
Now, one question I have,
Big
what do
issue
you
with
guys do
insurance.
for delinquent tax payments? I know your tax roll is ending at the end of the month.
it goes to the county.
It goes to the county then,
the
okay,
books get turned into the county.
okay, okay. All right.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? No, I do think maybe we probably should shoot this over to our town attorney, just to let him look it over and tell us if there's anything we need to do above and beyond the contract here.
Once we decide to do this, how long does it normally take to get set up?
It's pretty quick process, once you make the decision and you sign the agreement, again, the agreement is just a standard agreement between you and us. If you call me and say, hey, I don't wanna use your services anymore, we're not gonna come back and say you owe us, $750 to cancel this agreement. We just ask that you do it in 30 days. Likewise, if there's anything on our end that doesn't look right, we reserve the right to do the same. But it's a pretty simple thing, so. And then once it's approved, the contract is in with me, and then I would come back and I would ask for just information. So what do you want the tax roll to say? You obviously want the person's first name, their last name, you know, you want the plot number, you want what they're gonna be paying for, you know, are they paying for one or more lots? You know, so that kind of stuff is then decided between us. And then it goes out and it is created in our staging environment. Once it's done in staging, it goes to you. You guys look at everything, you make sure you like it. If you like it, then it's put into production. And it's probably 2-week process at the longest. As soon as I can gather it, the quicker I get the information, the quicker we get it done. So it's a pretty quick process. There are 3 ways to take the payments. You can do them online, you can do them walking in the door, or you can call our call center. On the tax side, I would not recommend the call center, maybe just do, I mean, if you trust online. Usually if we do an online tax, which a lot of people don't wanna come down here, I try to, normally we auto-approve everything. I should back up a little bit. Usually will auto-approve the transaction if they're right in front of you. On an online transaction, because everything is tracked with a PLC number, which we call pay location code. If somebody transposes that and your money ends up in Wisconsin, you know, we want you to be able to go in and view these transactions if they're being paid online and say, yes, this belongs to me, this belongs to me. Once in a while, there's one that slips in that may not belong to you. In the event that it does process through and you catch one that you say, okay, this is mine, and it turns out not to be, you simply will call us. We'll try to stop it by 3 o'clock if we can. Or at that point, we will have to alert you, then you will have to, you know, we'll refund the money on our end, or you'll have to do it, what you need to do on your end. But we have a lot of things in place to stop a lot of things, but it's a pretty secure, they've been around for a long time. We are endorsed by the New York Sheriff's Association. Almost every county uses us for bail, civil. As a matter of fact, I'm meeting with Tom Mitchell again this week, I just met him today. And so you can ask anybody in any of these counties about our services and, you know, how they feel about it. I think the great thing is that all of our services are free. You don't pay for any equipment, you don't pay for any customer service calls, we guarantee your chargeback, so it's a win-win for you. And anytime you have somebody walking in the door with a card in your hand and you say, no, I don't take it, chances for them coming back could be later, you know, then they gotta go get this and they gotta go get that. There is a small fee attached, I will tell you that, and the fee is passed on to the consumer. And then you do have the fee schedule that I sent you guys. And then, of course, we take all kinds of payments, whether it be for bail or whether it be for taxes or fines and fees or probation or you name it, we do the gamut. And of course, Delaware County uses us, Sheriff's Department, Probation Department uses us. I'm working with setting something up possibly in the landfill. So, you know, so I'll be working kind of the whole area this week and talking to a bunch of people and just trying to, you know, gather some more information, get some more business, so. But I think the big thing for you guys to know, especially on the tax side, if somebody comes in and the card goes south, we'll call you, but you get your money. So, and that's an ease for a lot of people.
Now, she can have 2 different bank accounts
Sure,
for,
yes.
for deposits.
Yep, you just tell us where you want the money to go.
Right.
When we build these PLCs, like let's say we build one for taxes, and it's, you know, 7963, and then that's associated with one bank account. All the money that flows under that number flows into that account. And then if you say, okay, well, I wanna do marriage license, and I wanna, you know, dog catcher license, and I want, you know, all the ancillary things that you guys do in the counties, you wanna be able, somebody walks up and says, I don't have the $20 or $10, but I do have a card here. And then that would flow into, that would have its own PLC number, and then that could flow into another bank account. All you have to do is tell us where you want the money.
I'll put you on the spot, Richard. Are you interested in court fees being able to pay with a card?
The answer is yes. OCA did have some recommendations that we go to the credit card system. They supplied credit card machines and such, and it was a disaster. I don't know if they've gotten the bugs out, but we chose not to go into the program because the bad experiences that were
Experience on that
happening.
one,
I mean, that would be ideal. I know a number of courts that I appeared in personally, they have the credit cards that are acceptable, and here locally, as a matter of fact. But we've stayed away from it only because the bad experiences, we're not convinced that it's out of the system yet.
It's really, like I said, it's a plug and play, you know, you go in, you put your information in, it's not stored.
Now, would they have their own,
You would have your own separate number,
Yeah.
that would just coincide with you, we would collect the payments, that would go into the account that you want it to go in. You know, you could have wherever you want the reader, you could have a standalone, so that people could put their own information in, or you could, there's a picture of it right here. And, or you could have just this little black reader on the side where you actually slide the card yourself. The only thing you have to have is it has to be hooked up to a computer, because the screen has to come up so that there is some information that'll have to be entered into it. But other than that, it's pretty simple. And I will tell you, you know, we have a lot of, on Texas, we're beta testing, we have a lot of police officers that actually have the swipes in the police cars now. And that's working out real well for warrants. You've got somebody rolling down the side of the road, they got a warrant in Michigan, and, you know, you can pay it right there, it goes right to the magistrate, it's paid, it's sent back over, it's instant.
What's your definition of a small fee?
Let's,
I mean, we would have to let the person know.
Yes, yes,
I'm
of course,
talking in the
yes.
courtroom setting.
Yes.
Elsie's got her own
I've
problems.
got it
but-
here, Richard.
Yeah. Is it on, is it on the amount, or is it?
It's based on the amount. Let's say 0 to $50.
$50 is a dollar fee that's added to their credit card
Yeah.
bill. From $50 to $100, it's a $2 fee. From $100 to $150 is a $3 fee. When you get above $150, it's 2.65%. It's like we figured on what, a $1,200 tax bill is gonna be
$31
and
and
change.
Okay.
About go to jail or pay your fee, you might want to use that credit card.
Hey,
And
you
that's
know,
the only place that we actually, that's where we make our money. We take that $1.50 off the top, that's what we keep, and then you guys get the rest. Or however, whatever the amount is.
But, see
Like I
that,
said, if you wanna talk it over with Kathy and see if you're
Yeah.
interested in
Well,
getting involved in this too.
see, we wouldn't be able to make deductions. In other words, if the court imposes a fine and a surcharge, and it comes to $250, that's gotta be $250 net positive to the court. Anything over and above that,
No, you get the full amount.
No, you would get the full amount.
Yeah, you do get that.
we get the.
Oh,
full
yeah,
amount.
oh, yes,
We
oh,
get the
yes.
full
I
amount,
misunderstood.
they add the fee on top of that full amount on the credit card
We pull that
statement.
off when that card is, approved. That $1.50 or $10, whatever, is pulled out. And then the 250 or 100 automatically goes into your account. So you
Okay.
always get that full amount. Whatever you're asking for, you get. We just put our fee on top of it. And we explain it to the consumer, like, well, if you wrote a check, or if you went and got a money order, the custom money order these days, or if you're just, you know, time running around trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay this. And a lot of people come to court with cards. It's just the way of the future, and that's what's going on right now, and so it's a thought for you,
It sure is.
yeah.
I'll check with that.
Yeah,
She's
think
got
about
the
it.
paperwork, or she's got the information, right,
Yep.
Elsie?
Yeah, yes. So,
And the mayor, you haven't experienced any issues or
We
whatever?
haven't had a problem in the village,
And you've been doing it for how long now, roughly?
at least a year.
yeah, going on the second year,
Yeah.
well into the second year. And of course, you can check with, you know, the sheriff.
Mhm.
They've been using us for a long, long time. So, and I was sad to see your last sheriff retire. I dearly loved him. Yes, Tom Mills, oh my God, he was great. But, so just whatever information you guys need, if it's not provided currently, you know, if you have more questions, certainly let her know, and then she can filter it to me, and then I can, I'll get you the answers immediately.
Good.
The other thing that you have, is you have a dedicated person that's taking care of you. So if something goes south, I don't recommend always calling customer service. If it's a little more detailed and intricate, call me and I'll take care of it. But if you take a transaction and, and they say, oh, I wanna cancel this, you really can go into that transaction, put the reference number in, go into notes, send a note and say, please cancel this transaction immediately, put your name and phone number, we always ask, in case they have to contact you, and we'll decline it and cancel it right out, right there on the spot for you. Or if they take, you know, we can always go, down, we can't go up. And when we're taking money, so.
How does, in our situation, on the spot, they get, well, even when you tax the situation, how is it, how does the receiver, the tax receiver or the court clerk,
Uh-huh,
know that the card is a valid card?
because it
Will
will
they
tell,
know it instantaneously?
they know it instantly. Mhm. It's like
Just like
being-
going into a store.
It's like going into a store and you get your card swiped and it's, oh, sorry, sir, your card was declined. Or sorry, you know, or it's been accepted. You're gonna get the same thing. And it prints out a really nice, receipt at the end. It will tell you the reference number, it date stamps it, it time stamps it. Again, that follows that transaction forever. Has all the person's information on it that you want us to gather. And again, if you decide you wanna do this and you say, okay, I want this, but later on you're a month into it and you say, well, I wished I would have added this. You just call us up and we'll add it for you,
Mhm.
or I take away that. And then it will print all that information out. You keep a copy for your accounting records, and then you give the copy to the consumer. We also can do reports for your county, so we call them BERT reports. If you need special reports run for certain things at certain times of the year, you can say, well, every 3 months I would like a report on, you know, everybody that paid during this period and what they paid for, and so we could run that report for you and we could send it to you. So that helps your accounting end of it too.
Is there a charge for that?
No, no. All our services are free. We don't charge for anything.
I'll have the court clerk talk with Elsa
Okay.
and you.
Okay.
Good.
Smart man.
Judges aren't allowed to handle the money, so this is
No.
a good thing as far as that's concerned.
You know, we supply you with all the signage, we supply you with everything that you need, so,
Great.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's pretty simple.
Good.
Let it move. I'll have you email that over to Dave, just have him take a look at it, and then, maybe the next meeting we can, if the judge knows whether or not they wanna join too, we can get it all set up at once.
Well, what way we do, since you already have an agreement, I could just, instead of sending another one out, I put a little addendum. So if you wanna add like fines, fees, other costs, ancillary fees, we just send a little addendum out. We don't make you jump through a bunch of hoops and sign a bunch of other paper. Most of our contracts are now going evergreen, so, they do have an expiration date, but, you know, we run it 5-6 years after that expiration date, so.
May I ask one question?
Yes, of course.
Do you have any coordination with the Office of Court Administration, New York State Court Administration for your program?
I would have to check on that for you. I will.
Okay.
I know that we do a lot with, you know, all the courts in New York. And, but specifically, are you talking this area?
I'm talking statewide.
Statewide.
Town and village courts.
Yes. We are actually working with the state of New York right now, on bail language. So we're very involved in, you know, things like that, so that we can have the correct language on the bail form, making sure that when the person, like my son gets in trouble in Michigan, you know, and I have to bail him out, it costs me $10,000. What's happened in the past, not necessarily in New York, and that's why we want to make sure this doesn't happen, is the defendant gets out of jail, my son in that case, and the $10,000 is handed to him. It's not given back to me. So that has been a problem in certain areas, and it's not because of what we've done wrong, it's that everybody has different language on their bail forms. So New York has come in and said, okay, we want this certain language, so we work closely with them. We do work at the correctional facility in New York, so the New York State Correction Office, we do a lot of work with different departments in New York, so.
Okay.
And I've met with them several times down there, so.
Okay,
They're
thank you.
very aware of who we are and what we do.
Very good.
Okay, thanks.
You need me anymore?
No, I guess you're free to go. Unless
Thank
Well,
wanna
thank
stay
you
and watch all
guys,
the
thank you
excitement.
for inviting me. I was on a 5 o'clock flight this morning, so I think, I got up at 3:30, so it's time to go. Thank you so much for having me. If you
Very
have any
nice.
questions, you know, if you want more cards, you need.
Yes, if I could, I'd
Okay.
like to give one to George and Kathy.
Yes, let me go ahead and
And
give you.
then if any of the board members.
I'll just
want
leave
to-
a couple.
Fabulous.
Special
Cool,
contract.
thank you.
Thank you guys for meeting with me, I appreciate it. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to let me know, okay?
Thank you, Richard.
And I'll be down to see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Take care, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, old business, tandem purchase. We're getting the paperwork almost done, I think. All we lack is the final truck specs for the truck we're gonna order, which Darren and Brian had given me a copy of. The only thing I've not seen on here, and I don't know if it is in here or not, Darren, we need something to verify that we're attaching to the Onondaga County
Alright,
bid.
I can have them
Yeah,
email something over.
yeah, if they could just email something, because all this says it's, you know, specs written for us, which is nice, but,
The Henderson one should have it on there.
yeah, I
I'm
didn't
surprised,
look at that one.
Tracy one.
I didn't see it on the Tracy road equipment one,
Alright, I'll have them email something. I'm
because that's the
surprised
one
it
thing they're
doesn't have
gonna ask for, it's like, okay, when did you go out to bid? And if
Mhm.
we didn't, then we have to prove that we tagged on to somebody else's bid.
it. Okay,
I'm not seeing it here, but,
So, but once we get that, we're pretty much ready to go with that?
yeah, that was the last two items that she was asking me for was the truck, the final truck specs. And the other one was we had to provide proof that we own the highway garage.
For now, we do.
I asked her, well, if we were gonna store the truck outside, would we not get the grant? And she couldn't answer that, so. I
Well, that
said,
was just
well,
on her list of things to ask,
Yeah.
but you had no idea.
So-
what,
we either had to send her a copy of the deed, or we had to have our town attorney send her a letter that we actually own the highway garage. So Dave sent the letter, and that was one less thing we had to do, but as far as I know right now, once we get this turned in, that finishes our paperwork on the grant. And we can go ahead and, order the truck. We did get permission to do that, even though we don't have a signed grant contract back. They said we can go ahead and get that on the motion, but. So. What do you think, Al? Do a motion to go forward with
Yeah.
ordering the truck based on getting proof?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay. Provided we get proof that,
Yep.
they're found, you know, not in Onondaga County bid. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, yeah, just give me copies of that. Darren.
Okay. There's nothing on that final page there, Mark, where the actual price is on from Tracy?
I didn't see it, but
Okay.
I'll look at it again
Alright,
later.
I'll double check, but
I was
otherwise,
kinda looking for it, but I didn't, oh, there it is, never mind. Onondaga County contract number 7823. Okay. Did Henderson put it on theirs?
yeah, they should have it on there too, I think. Probably on the last page
It
also.
says total package price, Onondaga County contract. Onondaga, yeah, I don't think they spelled that quite right, and they didn't do a contract number. So, yeah, if you can get Henderson to give us a correct spelling and a contract number on that. Onondaga,
Now you're really pushing.
Onondaga,
You try to spell it without looking.
Oh, we all end up with something from some county somewhere that we never even knew existed.
it's probably a county down in Florida, it probably comes with racing slick tires. But yeah, if we can just get all I need is that last page,
Alright, I'll get one
Corrected
from
with it.
Henderson.
you know, with the contract number on it.
Okay.
Then we'll be good, cause it is on there, and I just missed it the first time. Alright. Did we vote on that?
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
we did.
So we're good. Okay. April April 2nd, joint meeting of the town and the village on the annexation out on 28. The question we have is, after we pass our resolution, within 90 days, we have to hold a special election according to section 713 of municipal law, which I have no idea.
Just going with what our attorney tells us.
Yeah. Could you have him get a hold of me or Dave Merzig and find out what